Hi, I'm Romy. Welcome or welcome back to Start Page. Today I'm going to commit one of the book nerd bookish scenes where I'm going to say this series, the adaptations were better. The series I'm talking about is the Anne of Green Gables series. I'm going to talk about book 1 to 5 because that's so far I am, and honestly, that's fine. That's good enough for me to feel like I have the authority to talk about this and to make, an educated decision to say that yes, in my humble opinion, the adaptations are better. Yeah, so in my humble opinion, the adaptations are better than the book series. My favorite adaptation is Anne with an E, which got cancelled by Netflix. Fuck you. The Sullivan adaptations, those movies, I think they're pretty great. The other cartoons and stuff, they're fine. I don't have any strong feelings about them, and I still feel like they are, even if like the cartoons and thing and anime and the newer live action movie with those two girls, there are like two other movies I think other than the anyways. I've watched some of them. I think they're, even if they're not great, they're a little bit better than the entire series and you look at it in its entirety. Or 1 to 5. No, actually, in its entirety. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I've skipped through a couple pages of the other three, and yeah, in the series in entirety, the adaptations are. Yes, let's start with Anne of Green Gables. This book, it is treated and it's read as a standalone sometimes, and some people don't even know that it's a series, and honestly that's fine because you can stop here. It introduces Anne's character, it gives us some friendship, it gives us some rivalry, it gives us some new family relationship, wraps it up nice and it's a clean bow with a soft paperback cover or some really pretty hardcovers, which I actually want to collect. That's not important. And it gives us a nice story to enjoy reading like one sitting, and you think about it fondly from time to time. That's fine. That's what this book gives you. But a lot of the, if you look up, if you think about, if you find look up Anne of Green Gables on the internet, a lot of things that are going to come up are going to talk about Anne and Gilbert's relationship, their rivalry to romance, which is amazing if you ask me. And a lot of people go into the book series because of that. And you're not wrong to go into that. I'm not going to, say that's a stupid reason to get into the book. It is pitched as a very good romance and it seems very interesting. But you're not going to get that from these. You're not going to get the romance that it has been built up to be from this book. Because let's talk about the Sullivan adaptations. Those movies, they played up the romance a lot. I think it was a good decision. I enjoyed it. But it's not the same content. It's not that the level it is there. Even the level it is in Anne with an E, and that doesn't even start happening from Anne's side until season 3, and then they kiss once at the end of the last episode, and then Netflix cancelled it. Fuck you. Yeah, so if you're going into it for Anne and Gilbert or Sherbert, shit names and all, if you're going into it for that, if that's what you're going into it for, that's what you're looking to enjoy, that's what you're looking to cut, that's the media you're looking to consume, you can skip the series, the book series. And I know that's not a thing that, that's not something that people want to hear, and that's not something that I, as a reader, want to say. But if that's what you want from the series, you're not going to get it. Honestly. So you can go and you can watch the movies, the Sullivan movies, if you want a lot of romance. You can watch so if you're going listen, Anne with an E is one of my favorite TV shows. I'm going to recommend it all the time. But if you're looking for the romance, then the Sullivan adaptations are the way to go. Those movies are the way to go if you're looking for romance. And then Anne's character, if you're going into it because you've heard all about Anne's character, you know all about Anne's character from the internet, or from you've watched the adaptations and you know her character. Or you watch Anne with an E because a lot of people learned about the series from Anne with an E when it first came out. So if you're going into it for the same character that Anne is in Anne with an E, or that Anne is presented online, you can stop at book 4. there are 8 books in the series, and I'm telling you to stop at book 4 if that's what you're going into. Because book 1, Anne is introduced as this headstrong, outspoken, smart character. You know, her character is just very loud, and it's a good thing. She's a very interesting character. She has her interests. You know, she likes to read. She likes the garden. You know, whatever. She wants to be the bride of adventure. Whatever. She's introduced to that. She's introduced as that character here. It's not as strong as it is in Anne with an E, to be honest. So also that's another thing where I'm saying that is high, that is ranked higher than this. And I think it's like her character is just a little bit, is basically on the same level for the Sullivan adaptation. But yeah, we're introduced to her as that character here. She's basically like that here, but you know, older. Yeah, so she's a school teacher here. And she is still the same character, but because she is, you know, trying to be professional when she's at school, it's not shown quite as much. But when she's, you know, outside of the school environment, or even in the school environment, sometimes it is showcased, but it's not as much as it was in this book. And then here she goes to Redmond. This is where it starts to dwindle, but I don't think it's in a bad way here. It wasn't disappointing to me here, because you know, she's getting more mature. She's focusing on college. She's having different types of adventures than when she was young. So it still felt like the same Anne, but older. So even though I did miss her when she was young when I was reading this book, it still felt like the same Anne. Then here, it's the same Anne. She's in a different town, and she's having different experiences. She's having different troubles with, like, yeah, it's basically the same, and it's a little bit less because there's a lot of this, like 50% of the story is her writing. So is her writing letters, which I think does a good job of portraying the same original Anne that we got. But then you get to book 5. Yeah, they move to a new town. They're meeting new people, forming new friendships. This is where Anne's character starts to dwindle. This is where she becomes Dr. Blythe's wife. This is where her character starts to fade, like she's a colorful shirt and you put her in straight bleach. This book, it disappointed me because it definitely did not feel like the same. And there was a little bit of character, like, you know, few drops of food color. She's introduced to all these other characters. She's forming a couple of friendships, and it just doesn't feel like her, and it was very disappointing. It's not even like she's mature. It's not like she's maturing, so, like, you know, her childishness is gone. No, she just feels like a completely different character. She starts to feel bland here. She just feels like an accessory to Dr. Blythe. And I know, you know, it's a product of its time. Whatever. This book is set whatever is happening, and you know, whatever. That's not what this is. She's flat. Yes, so if you're going into it for Anne's character, stop at 4, because by 5, she's very flat. Very, you know, just flat. Her life is drained out of her. And then in book 6, which is Anne of Ingleside, which is when she starts to have, like, a bigger group of children, she is just a vessel for the children's characters to come through. And I started reading, I got halfway through it, and I put it down because it was actually hurting me, because I went into the story for Anne, and Anne is not even there anymore. So I recommend you stop at book 4 if you're looking for her character. And then now let's go back again for another thing. If you're going in for the friendships, so like, if you're going in for the Anne and Diana kindred spirits thing, you can start for book 3. I don't remember much about Anne and Diana. I don't remember how long Anne and Diana's friendship was a big thing in the Sullivan movies. I think they were for a while. You can correct me if I'm wrong if you watched all of them. But they definitely were a bigger thing for longer in the movies. And then, you know, and then in Anne with an E, they started college, and it stopped there because Netflix cancelled it. So I don't know how big Anne and Diana's friendship would have been there, how big or how important it would have been in Anne with an E, but I still feel like it would have been more. So yeah, I think this adaptations did it better. I think they both of them. I'm also talking about Anne and Ian, the Sullivan adaptations right now. I think they handled Anne's character better. They definitely did more with the romance. So for all the romance lovers out there, yeah, that's the way to go. They handled the friendships better. A lot of the things that people going to this series or going to the first book expecting, it's a lot of build up done by the fandom or by the fan base, and not it's not actually in the source material. So a lot of stuff is done and it's built up by the fans. That's what I have. I'm going to leave links in the description for ways you can help, because there is a lot going on in the world right now. I'm going to leave links to my other social media to where you can find me. It's regarding liking, commenting, and subscribing. Do what you want. Bye.